What is going on, guys? And today we are going to be talking about the two Washington Wizards first round draft picks. Now, I will admit, just to start off and say, I will admit, I was in my feelings. The draft was going accordingly. Everybody was picking their guys. You had the Mavs, the Spurs, the 76ers, Hornets. Then it came down to the Utah Jazz. A lot of Wizards fans was like, "Oh, Ace Bailey gonna be the pick. We got him. We got him. Ace Bailey said he didn't want to go to Utah. Ace Bailey got drafted by the Utah Jazz. Utah Jazz said, "We don't care about how you feeling, little bro. You finna come over here to Salt Lake City." So I was a little hurt by that. Because I expected Ace Bailey to be the sixth pick for the Washington Wizards. But the Wizards ended up selecting Trey Johnson, which is fine by me. I would have preferred Trey Johnson over Jeremiah Fears. So I'm glad they went with Trey Johnson. Let's talk about Trey Johnson. Averaged 19. Really, if you want to round up, say he averaged 20 a game in college, 87% from the free throw line, 39% from three, really 40% from three if you want to round up. Around 43% from the field. Simple. From what it seems like in the draft strategy for Will Dawkins this year, there's two draft picks in Trey Johnson and Will Riley, was, can you hoop? Like, yeah, everybody in the NBA can play basketball, but no. Can you hoop? Can you get a bucket? Can you score? Off the dribble? Like, can you hoop? That seems like, can you get a bucket? That seems like that was the draft strategy coming into this draft, because Trey Johnson and Will Riley are two guys who can absolutely get you a bucket, who can absolutely score the basketball, who are two really highly potential guys offensively. So, Trey Johnson, one of the best shooters, if not the best shooter in the draft. I mean, you talk about scoring, the scoring aspect of his game. You can look at it and say it's an elite trait. Now, the one question mark in there is like, okay, he needs to be able to get to the basket a little bit more. I think that all comes with growth. I think that all comes with time and size. He's, I believe, 19. So that all comes with time. I think as you grow into your man body, you're in the NBA locker room, you go through a season, you get in the weight room on an NBA plan. I think that comes in time. So I think the finishing won't be an issue. So, I mean, you look at his game, I tweeted out, I said, what do you guys think his ceiling is? I see Milwaukee Bucks, Ray Allen, Devin Booker, with a better three ball. Like, we'll see. Those are pretty high. I see videos of him and people have said Tyler Hero on the high end, So I like what I see from him offensively. The Wizards need offense. Bilal Coulibaly, Alex Sarr. These are guys who are good defensively. We're highly talented for defense. Offense, not so much. Bub Carrington, who's now going to have a expanded role in this offense now. Somebody who is a really good mid-range shooter. Keyshawn George, who Will Riley, some people compared him to Keyshawn George. Some Wizards fans may say the Will Riley pick, it was a little redundant because you already have Keyshawn George. But I think overall, offense was needed. We seen the Wizards last season. They went on these droughts where they just couldn't really score the basketball. So it's good to get guys who can just simply hoop, who can simply put the ball in the basket. Wizards need that. They need that addition to this young core. Somebody like Trey Johnson, who's going to have the opportunity to really shine on the offensive end and really do his thing and make these mistakes and get better. The Wizards are a great organization for him to come into and to really, grow into the role of being an offensive hub potentially on this team. And you look at the playmaking from Trey Johnson and Will Riley as well. They're both underrated passers. They both can grow into secondary playmaking roles as well. You look at their tape, they're able to find the guys. It looks like they both have a pretty decent feel for the game. It's not all about strictly putting the ball in the basket. So, I mean, that's good. There's all good things to see, but we all know what we're here for. We want to see the 25-point game. the 28-point games, the performances he had against the likes of Ohio State, etc., against Tennessee. So, I mean, all in all, I think it's a W pick. There's a lot to work with here. I'm excited to see what he could do in Summer League. I don't know the last time the Wizards had really like a highly touted offensive player go into the Summer League to where we're going into the Summer League and we're like, we want to see this dude go hoop. We want to go see this dude get some buckets. Because that's all he did at Texas was go out there and get buckets. Whether it was off the dribble, whether it was catch and shoot, step backs, fadeaways. So there's a lot of expectation that's going to be coming from Wizards fans. I know a lot of Wizards fans did like Trey Johnson. If they didn't get Ace Bailey, Trey Johnson was a lot of Wizards fans' second option. So if he can transfer that offensive prowess from Texas to the NBA level and improve on that by doing things like getting to the basket and finishing strong, then I mean, you'll be looking at a really, really, really good NBA player and a really, really highly touted option for the Washington Wizards. Now, secondly, let's get into Will Riley out of Illinois. He averaged 12 points a game. I'll round him up to 13. And for rebounds, 72% from the free throw line, 33% from the three, 43% from the field. This is another guy, when you look at his tape, he's a guy who can go get a bucket. The knock on him is his size. He's a little slim, on the slimmer side. But once again, I think he's young. He's a very young guy. He's 19 as well. I think these things come with time, growing, similar to Trey Johnson. They're going to grow into their man bodies. They're going to grow into their NBA bodies. So the size thing right now is not something I'm really worried about. And I think, the finishing and finishing strong and all that will come in time as he grows in his career. But you look at another person who's an underrated playmaker, somebody who can create their own shot, get their own shot off the dribble, shoot the three ball, shoot the mid-range, fade away, hooper, similar to Trey Johnson, hooper. If these two guys was at, your local run when you go hoop, and they just on the court, and you got a chance to pick, these are the first two guys you would want on your team, because these guys can simply hoop. Simple as that. And like I said, that seemed like the draft strategy for Will Dawkins. He wanted guys who can score the basketball, not guys who are good defensively and are raw offensively and are going to need work and are going to need to improve. And these are two guys who offensive games are already shining. Now you look at the defensive end with guys like Trey Johnson. Trey Johnson already said that Will Dawkins showed him tape of him taking plays off while at Texas, and that's a knock on someone like Trey Johnson. It's his defensive ability, and which makes sense. Typically, guys who are high offensive impact guys typically aren't that best of defensive guys. So hopefully, at the NBA level, where it's not solely him being the number one option to score, that'll help him improve on the defensive side. And from what I hear, what I see, Trey Johnson's a gym guy. He likes to be in the gym. Will Riley, somebody who has good size as well. At 6'9", you would hope defensively he comes along too, just with that size and with that gaining of the weight. I think that will also help him defensively and not be bullied against some of these NBA vets at the wing spot that he'll be guarding, so he doesn't pick up a lot of fouls. But all in all, I'm thinking, man, I like the direction of the first two picks in the first round. It was a clear direction on what Will Dawkins wanted. I do think if Ace made it to 6, the pick would have been Ace Bailey. But Trey Johnson is a good backup option. Will Riley is a good option as well at the 21st pick. They traded back from 18. I believe with I forgot who it was. It may have been the Utah Jazz. It was the Jazz they traded back with. So let me know how you guys feel. You got the second round today. Let me know how you guys feel about these first two picks. Will Riley out of Illinois, Trey Johnson out of Texas. Two guys who can hoop. Two guys who in the summer league, we hope to see that offensive prowess, man. We hope to see what they can do. It's a lot to work with. It's a lot to work with. When you can score at the level that Trey Johnson scores at, you already got a lot to work with off rip. And you have opportunity. He has opportunity on this team to grow his game as well and his understanding. Will Riley, both of these guys will come off the bench, and they got good vets, Marcus Smart, CJ McCollum, Chris Middleton. These guys have vets to watch and work behind it. Then you got young kids like Bub, Alex, Keyshawn. Corey Kisper's still young as long as while he's on the team for right now. But AJ Johnson, somebody else I didn't bring up. So there's a lot of people to learn from with these two coming in. So we'll see what happens. I think this was a W draft for the first round for the Wizards. If I were to give it a letter grade, I'd say I give him an A, man. I give him a strong A. Now, if it was Jeremiah Fears, it probably would have been like a B or something like that. But I like what they did here, man. The Wizards needed offense. Now, my only question is, okay, some people also may not like the Will Riley pick because, we need a big. Some people would have hoped that they went and got Sorber from Georgetown. But the Wizards, they are a little small, up there. But maybe they just believe in Alex Sarr at the 5 spot. But they may get beat up a little bit on the boards like it's been for a little while. But until next time, guys, that's all I got. Peace.